Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. So there is a lot of change coming to game on May 23rd with the new class Tempest. Today we're going to take a quick look at the new patch notes, and I'm also going to do a part 2 of this video talking through the new Paragon system with as much detail as I currently understand and can give myself. Let's go.
Command wind and sea as the Tempest. The embodiment of the frigid northern element has arrived in a symphony of mist, the Tempest. Tempests are masters of wind and wave, and these blade dancers use their sacred talents to save the people of Sanctuary from doom. Tempests are sacred defenders, using elements and edged weapons to defeat the dark forces that oppose them. Hailing from the cold isles in the north, those that dare stray from their homelands are pariahs. Their calling is to use their talents to protect the lives of mainlanders at all costs. Tempests utilise edges, wind and water blades of immense powers that harness the elements of air and water. Tempests conjure zephyrs, temporary shades that mirror your movements and distract and taunt enemies, leaving their foes open for the kill. Mastering the Tempest requires reverence for the elements and the fury of the roughest waters. Will you become the storm? So as you have probably already guessed, this video is mainly going to be about Tempest, the newest class to Diablo Immortal. Master Sea and Sky, the origins of an exile hero. Uncontrolled power is the doom of the soul, power gripped tight, the doom of the world. This mantra guides the mist-clad blade dancers of the Cold Isles, the Tempests, on every voyage. It has also led a handful of them to flee their ancestral home for the first time in a millennia. The Cold Isles rest far to the north beyond Ivgarod. In these harsh lands, its people have subsided for thousands of years. Legends hold that their great empire of Pelgain, a thalassocracy born of seafaring and trade that reached as far as Jingzai, was ruined by violence between their rulers. Sister Priest Empress with the power to command oceans and wind. The battle-roiled Sea and Sky drowned their mainland cities and left only the island capital standing, beset by permanent deluges and hurricanes and surrounded by Marazi, beasts of the deep. A once proud people now cling to the vestiges of their empire, relying on the blade dancers to endure the weather and enemies that haunt them. Tempests train in the art of fighting upon the waves and sail as far south as the Ariat to hunt the beasts that ravage their shores. Other than imperial ruins, the largest relics of Pelgain's rule are the mists of the Spiral, a winding network of snowy fjords. The people of the Isles believe these mists are the dying breath of their Empress Merwin. They send their purest and bravest among the Tempests on dangerous voyages to breathe in the mists, hear the whispering voices of an early rage, and grow in knowledge and power to command sea and sky as the Empress did. Those Tempests who are purest of heart and will drink in the mist daily ultimately trade in their material thoughts and bodies for a greater power over wave and wind. But storms have battered Pelgain for centuries, and more tempests are needed to curb them each year. With every beast the tempest slays, 2 more lurk below. The sages, counsellor and mystic unmoored who control Pelgain's future are unwilling to abandon the land occupying its ruin. Occasionally, tempests who voyage widely, who see a bigger world just as embattled as their homeland, reject their society and refuse to give up their humanity to the mists. They claim their perspective is greater than that of the mist-addled unmoored, and lament their strongest wasting their lives, delaying the inevitable, never stopping it. Some believe their home will be doomed forever, while others seek a way to save the lands beyond. All are exiled, made pariahs to deter others from following their example. Today, a small number of these wandering tempests voyage the mainland to confront its evils. They cut down demons with sweeping twin edges and command water and sky to preserve any lives they can. But when they speak, it's always as exiles, with the chill of the wind and the voices of centuries gone. If their home is doomed despite all the people have sacrificed, what will it cost them to save Sanctuary? So that is pretty much the backstory for Tempest. Now let's take a look at the primary attacks and a few of the skills. Harness the Storm, Tempest skills. Conjure the wrath of the Cold Isles with a brevity of strikes to quell any foe. Mist Touched. Your attacks will periodically conjure a zephyr to your aid, attacking enemies and mimicking many of your skills before dissipating into a mist-touched orb. When you collect a mist-touched orb, it reduces the cooldown of mist-touched, but if an ally collects a mist-touched orb, it will empower them, causing their next skill to conjure a zephyr, mimicking the attack used. Many of your other skills can also conjure zephyrs, but you can only control up to 3 at one time. So now moving on to take a look at primary attacks, starting with Wind Edge. Empower your edges with violent winds that allow you to quickly slash nearby enemies, dealing damage. If an enemy is out of range, you will rush to their location, but against enemy players, this has a cooldown. The ultimate for this is Piercing Gale. Enhances wind edge temporarily, allowing you to charge forward and slice through enemies, dealing damage. You also gain a shield that absorbs damage. The alternate primary attack is Wave Edge, which unlocks at level 34. Empower your edges with the crashing tides to create water whips that allow you to unleash a series of sweeping attacks, dealing damage to your primary target and nearby enemies. The ultimate for this is Power of the Deeps. Enhances Wave Edge temporarily, increasing your range and allowing you to attack enemies all around you, dealing damage. You also gain a shield that absorbs damage. Now moving on to skills, we have Breaker. Flourish your blade edges, unleashing a wave that crashes over enemies, dealing damage. As the wave crashes into the ground, it conjures a Zephyr. Crosswinds. You and your Zephyr unleash a gust of wind at a targeted location, dealing damage. Vortex. Unlocked at level 3. Conjure a vortex that pulls in nearby enemies, continually dealing damage. Along with these skills, we also have Squall, unlocked at level 8. Call on the power of the wind to teleport you and your Zephyrs to a targeted location, unleashing a swirl of attacks, dealing damage. Blade Dance, unlocked at level 15. Throw the blades of your edges forward into the ground, dealing damage to enemies and stunning them. After a short delay, you pull yourself into the blades, damaging and knocking back enemies along your path. Cascade, unlocked at level 20. You and your Zephyrs slam your edges into the ground, unleashing a crashing wave around you, damaging enemies within the area. Flowing Strike, unlocked at level 28. Conjure a Zephyr at your current location as you dash forward in a flurry of blaze and water, damaging enemies in your path. Tidal Rush, unlocked at level 38. You and your targeted Zephyr dash at each other's current location to slice through enemies in your wake, dealing damage. Zephyr Surge, unlocked at level 41. Dissipate into the air to become untargetable and unleash a flurry of 5 slashes on nearby enemies, dealing damage. Zephyr Surge also consumes all of your Zephyrs, empowering the attack with 1 additional slash for each Zephyr consumed. Windwalk, unlocked at level 44. Conjure a cyclone, temporarily increasing your attack speed and making you untargetable while you remain inside the storm. Rolling Surf, unlocked at level 47. Empower yourself with the sea, causing you and your Zephyr's primary attacks to hurl water blades and penetrate enemies, dealing damage. Additionally, your movement speed is increased and you ride a wave that allows you to primary attack and move at the same time. Riptide, unlocked at level 50. Release your edges to command the water around you into a crushing tide that pulls in nearby enemies, damaging and stunning them. And lastly, we have Storm Fury, unlocked at level 53. Imbue your edges and the weapons of nearby allies, causing your primary attacks to unleash slashes of wind, dealing additional damage. Now, all of the information for set items available for Tempest is also in the patch notes on the Blizzard website. I'm not going to go through all of the items individually because this would make the video ridiculously long, and I've got other things that I want to move on with from the patch notes. But overall, this looks like a really interesting class to play. I'm definitely going to swap my alt character to Tempest and give it a go. And it will be interesting to test out the different skills and essences once it's all landed in game on May 23rd. So moving on from Tempest, we have some changes starting with Challenge Rift. So Challenge Rifts will be reduced from a maximum of 600 to 200 levels. Players in Hell 1 difficulty or lower can challenge up to level 100 to become Solo Rift Challengers. Players in Hell 2 difficulty or higher can challenge up to level 200 in the Challenge Rift. Historical first achievements will be kept and can be queried in leaderboards. Completing all 200 challenge rifts will grant 8,250 enigmatic crystals and 54,520 cryptic crystals, the same total as before the simplification. You cannot re-earn these awards if they've been earned before. So most of the other changes are based around the new Paragon system and Paragon level, which I will discuss in the second part of this video. For now, the last thing that I'm going to touch on here is the changes to Codex. So with the adjustment to difficulties, Paragon levels, Challenge Rifts and Reliquary, relevant content in the Codex, including the guide, conquest, hero's journey and achievements, will also be adjusted. So I'm not entirely sure what that looks like yet. Obviously the Paragon system and the Paragon level changes I will discuss in the second part of this video. For now, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.